Shall I go for it?
Yeah. I don't know if I have it, but yes, go ahead.
The first requirement is that we be convinced that any life run on self-will can hardly be a success. On that basis, we are almost always in collision with something or somebody, even though our motives are good. Most people try to live by self-propulsion. Each person is like an actor who wants to run the whole show, is forever trying to arrange the lights, the ballet, the scenery, and the rest of the players in his own way. If his arrangements would only stay put, if only people would do as he wished, the show would be great. Everybody, including himself, would be pleased. Life would be wonderful. In trying to make these arrangements, our actor may sometimes be quite virtuous. He may be kind, considerate, patient, generous, even modest and self-sacrificing. On the other hand, he may be mean, egotistical, selfish, and dishonest. But as with most humans, he is most likely to have varied traits. Okay, that's the reading, Paul. I'll pass it over to you. Thanks.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. Paul here, grateful member of Recovery. I think Kurt or someone the other day brought up the idea of the actor or our actor representing this idea of self. So our actor doing something isn't us doing something. This is just a defining idea that we keep harping on. I do not believe that you hate yourself. I do not believe you are your own worst enemy. I do not believe you're the actor. Yeah, I don't. So, as it says here, being convinced any life run on self-will can hardly be a success. When I see the word self-will, I see it as something other than me will in my life. Yeah, so something other than me has a will concerning this life. Other words, maybe I want to go somewhere and the GPS wants to go somewhere else. So the GPS keeps presenting itself as the driver and wants to convince the driver to go where the GPS wants to go. I'm not the driver. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not which can be driven. I can be driven by spirit or I can be driven by fucking mental insanity, but we're going to be driven. It's just that simple. Yeah. And, what's the other thing? Driven by 100 forms of whatever, self. If we're being driven by self, then we're not self, obviously. So if they say the word, and I don't care what they really understood or not, something to me, the big book was a download, and their understanding could be like many of our understanding, which changes a lot during the day. Yeah. But there are some very pristine samples of, to me, a recognition that I have found to be incredibly powerful, which is that which has defeated me is foreign to me. Without that recognition, if how we describe the exact nature of the wrong, which is we're listening to something that is constantly in the act of being identified as self. Yeah. And that idea of self means you're the doer of everything that happens through you, even though you're not the doer of the digestion, taking the shit, pumping the heart, beating the heart, pumping the blood, all these things that comprise the living of us, we have absolutely nothing to do with. But then basically, we're still seen as the doer concerning thoughts, actions, feelings, shit like that. Yes? I mean, there's a real discrepancy there. Either you're the doer or you're not the doer. Yeah. I do some shit and I don't do most of the shit. Well, I don't believe we're thinking. I don't. I like to see how you think. I like to start from non-thinking and then let's take it step by step. Because obviously, if there's non-thinking and then there's thinking, there must be something that happens. So let's say there's this ambiguous non-thinking, and somehow something there chooses to start to think. Do you feel like that? Or do thoughts just appear? Yeah. Do you see them coming from Idaho or something? My thoughts are made in Boise. And all right, I ordered a shipment, and then here it comes. You don't have any idea. They appear on a screen, yeah, and they trigger what? They trigger a lot of reactions, yeah. But what's allowing the triggering is seeing or being aware of, yes? Have you ever been moved by a thought you weren't aware of? Probably not, yeah. You maybe have been moved by a feeling that you weren't aware of, but usually the thoughts are sort of descriptive, and they're attempting to sort of describe or predict or forecast or know something about something, yeah? So the idea that these are my thoughts should have been dismissed by coming to a lot of AA meetings, because if you sat there with not even an open mind, just 2 levels above a coconut, if you sat there for months listening to people share their thoughts, their feelings, and their reactions to life, they sure sounded like yours, didn't they? So definitely. And then when you look at all these people that you don't seem to identify with, we've all ended up in the same 3 parking spaces, sort of institution, jails, and death. So I would say we're not the driver, we've been driven, yeah? And something has driven us, and let's give it the name of alcoholism. And that alcoholism is driving us, and that's described as self-will. Not our will or God's will, but self's will. So that idea of something other than us that's living in us and is being described as living as us, yeah? And we're listening to that description all day, to the point it's just a natural response now. When a thought occurs, we think it's ours, yeah? I did it. A feeling, have you really been able to describe a feeling really that well? A lot of people mistake excitement for anxiety. Yeah. A lot of people mistake a desire for, let's say, for sex as love. Yeah. Yeah. Yes or no? Yeah. So we're supposedly being the doer of all this shit, yet we don't even have a good description of the shit that we're doing. Yeah. I'm feeling love. No, it's lust. Yeah. I'm feeling discouraged. It's not a lifelong depression. Yeah. So there's something is narrating and interpreting everything for us, seemingly giving us an interpretation like on a plate. And we've been eating it for such a long fucking time. Yeah. And I found finally that which has defeated me is not me. And what happened? It opened up a possibility. What was that possibility? I can be free from it. That's the way it went. And then when it told me I could be free from it, it told me why I hadn't been living like that, because I was trying to be free as it, which captures the whole meaning of self can't get out of self. Yeah, that's exactly seemingly what I have been doing most of my adult life. I've been trying to get out of me as me. I never for a moment thought I wasn't in that. I just had lots of drives to get out of it. Yeah. I had never really sat there and said, am I in this thing that I really want to get out of? Yeah. The dilemma with this is the thing you want to get out of, yeah, you're identified as. So when you try to get out of it as it, that's the capturing of self can't get out of self, yes? So I'm trying to get out of the system that has defeated me through the system that has defeated me. Good luck, yeah? So I had a dawning, whatever you want to call it. I can call it persistent because it's never changed ever since. That's pretty damn good. Yeah. I think it happened around my 7th year of sobriety. Something hit me and I realized in that sentence on page 64, being convinced self, bing, 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 foreign, not me, foreign pathogen, parasitical movement, demonic possession, whatever, but not me. Being convinced not me, manifested in various ways, had defeated me. And being convinced of that, I'm now going to look at the not me, and see how the not me, by looking at its common manifestations, which is resentment, fear, and harming other people in the pursuit of what I want, rationalizing, stepping on people's toes and shit like that, because that drive of me wanting what I want overrode anything else. So I look at those, I stop calling them my resentment, hopefully, and maybe look at them as this foreign pathogen's direction, and its effects. And then I tell the truth about that which has defeated me. And what happens? I share it with another person in step 5, and they help illuminate more of how I was defeated. And now, while I was living, usually I came to after the defeat, I start seeing the storm like accumulating. I could see, and what I did, I was taught to bring what I saw, which is not of me, to step 6 and 7, and ask that power that struck me sober, and did something that no human power could do, which is to keep me sober. I asked that humbly, I'm entirely ready to have it reconfigure this shit. What? Yeah, sorry. That's a sponsee from somewhere else. So I share that 6 and 7. And what I found over time, the greatest detour is not denial concerning 8 or 9, but it's 6 and 7. Because if I dump the shit that's going to lead me to do something I'm going to have to make amends for, I don't do that something that I'm going to have to make amends for. So I escape a lot of 8 and 9 in the rest of my life by recognizing what has defeated me as not me. When I see some of its manifestations and its activities as not mine, and I bring it to step 6 and 7, I do not get led to fucking someone else over and having to make an amends. So I save 8 and 9, truly. And then I just go to 10, 11, 10, 12, and I get into the habit of being sober, how to maintain a quality of this spiritual awakening condition. Some people who I work with, let's say they go to 4 meetings a week. They're feeling pretty good. They drop down to 2. They realize that blunt edge is now sharp again. So they have a very clear direction. Just go back to 4 meetings a week. Keeps the quality good, So you start learning how to keep the balance in a balanced level. 10, 11, 12. And what happens? More gets revealed, more shit gets brought to 6 and 7. And a lot of that claimed territory of my life, claimed by self, is now retrieved, and I become like a free-range alcoholic. I got a lot of space to roam. I may not claim all that space, but I got the space to roam. I can enjoy peace of mind. I feel this presence. I feel that power flowing in. All that stuff. And now it's been like 35 years or whatever, going to be 36, I guess. I don't know what, sometimes. And it keeps on keeping on, has a momentum in and of itself. And I truly believe recovery progresses, like we say the disease progresses. I do. I think there's going to be less you need to do and more there is to be available as. So, So Yes, any life run on self-will can hardly be a success. It would be nice to see that as not your will, so that your will can be given over to something greater than yourself, and let that larger will direct your will and tell the truth about self-will. And one of the basic truths, it's not you. Yeah. If you try to convince that parasitic movement, it's not going to become a service animal. It's not. It's not going to become your amigo. It's got a nature like a snake. It's going to probably bite you sooner or later. That's the way it goes. Yeah. You bypass all of that self-improvement, and then you improve in spite of self, really. Yeah. The last thing you want is self-claiming to be the spiritual. That's not a good one. It can hide out for a long time in that little costume. So yeah, the book is incredible. Yeah. But if you're being driven, you're not the driver. Yes, is my logic that insane that makes sense to me? When I hear the word driven, I don't picture myself as the driver. I picture myself as a vehicle that something is using for transportation. Yeah. Now it can be what we call the higher power, which is pretty damn cool, or it could be the lower power, which we're very familiar with. And I don't have magical thinking that the Ford is not going to turn like a Ford. Yeah. That the Ford is not going to smell like a Ford. No, it's going to smell like a Ford. It's going to turn like a Ford, and it's a Ford. Thank God I'm not that Ford. Yeah, yeah. So the joy of being driven by the higher power presents us a lot of opportunity to have gratitude and wonder and awe. I don't see how we don't apply what was Caesar's, the lower power that was doing through us what shit we would never have done by ourselves. We tend to be very murky about that, but we're very clear that a higher power is keeping me sober and doing all this stuff. What about the low power that was keeping you in slavery? We keep calling it ours, right? I mean, when does the statute of limitations, when is it lifted in your life? Thinking you did shit that you didn't do for 36 years, you're not going to stop thinking. See, you're not the thinking of that for 36 years. Yes? Do not rely on the system that's proven to be unreliable. Let your heart move you, not your thoughts. Yeah? To me, it's the gut, really. I don't like the idea of heart because it gives too much definition and meaning given to love. I mean, in the gut, yeah, you just feel something, and then there's a lot of thinking about things. Yes, yeah. So I feel it's a very simple presentation, at least when you're just going to jump into a conversation and start calling resentments yours, maybe stop for a second, yeah? You don't have to correct the other person who's calling their mine. Don't have to go there. Just correct your habit of saying, claiming the manifestations of self as yours is the bondage of self. I mean, that's one of the most atypical examples of the bondage of self is something other than us is manifesting through us, and we're calling it our manifestations. That's the bondage of self. It's like going into a car wash. You go into the inventory with my resentments and you leave with my resentments. We miss something, yes? how long does a resentment live in your life, and how long does my resentments live in the life? There's something that extends the life expectancy of resentment, and it ain't the resentment, it's us. Yeah. We're giving life to the manifestations of self. We're almost like providing the milk for a foreign birth, so to speak. Yes. And if we're being used to feed something else, we're not available to be fed or to feed other things. You see that? If we're constantly being fed on, we're not available. There's a double effect. Oh yeah, I'm just obsessed with self. When there's an obsession with self, there's a denial of something else going on. That's really just like when, I don't know about you, but when I was out there, let's say selling myself, prostituting myself, fucking being with people I didn't want to be with just to get the drugs. I thought I had it going on. I did. I didn't realize I was losing all these subtle qualities. Yeah. I was losing so much at that card table, thinking I had a winning hand because I was doing coke and whatever, but I was losing so fucking much. Now, the beautiful thing is all that I thought I lost can be reclaimed. That's the beauty. You never actually lose anything. If you just stay on the operating table, that shit you thought you lost, it may be external shit you may never get back, but those qualities that you felt you lost, they come back. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the point. We don't have, there's great meetings about the concepts and the traditions and the worldview and all of these things and service. We're not changing anything. We're not changing the steps. We're just pointing out a sentence in the big book that I believe captures the exact nature of the wrong, which is being convinced self manifested in various ways is what has defeated us. If you're convinced, we're now going to look at its common manifestations. The next paragraph is resentment. Resentment is a common manifestation of self in our lives. Yeah. If we're looking at life from a very self-centered lens, we're going to have resentments. Yeah. Or they're going to have us. We're going to have anxiety that we're going to call fear. We're going to have all this shit, and we're apt to probably do something that we do not feel is morally right, but it won't matter because we want that something. Yeah. And those are just the common manifestations. There's hundreds of forms of other shit that can come through your life. Yeah. That's all we're talking about, is having a different view. So when you go into the 4th step or the 10th step, you stop calling the manifestations of self yours, just for a fucking, like an intellectual experiment. Yeah. And see the difference between what comes after my, when there's a my before it. Yeah. So resentment, my resentment, much different. Yeah. Problem, my problem, much different. Life, my life, much different. Yeah. It's amazing how life can change its opinion of me when I got sober. Truly amazing, really. I can't believe they just, I don't know, must have been just a fucking coincidence. I start getting sober and then life looked a whole lot different than it did when I was loaded. What happened? You don't have to change life. Just see what's going on where you're sit, and you'll see life differently. So, all right, that's about it, eh? Anyone else, Ben?
Okay, thanks, Paul. Great. If anyone's got a question, if you want to raise their hands, come in, I'll share.
But one thing is, don't you think that's a profound statement? Any life run on self-will can hardly be a success. what is it that you call self in your own life? What is it? Because that's a pretty incredible warning from a book that we have found relief from and a solution in. That's a pretty profound statement. Any life run on self-will could hardly be a success. I would check that out, don't you think? What exactly self means and what exactly will means concerning you, so that maybe you can recognize that which is going to make any life run on it not be successful. It would be nice, eh? Yeah, it would. I mean, shit. There's a shark swimming in the water. Oh, yeah, there's a shark swimming where you're swimming in the water. All right. The alarm should go off, eh? I think. I don't know. No, academic. Yeah, sharks swim in water. I understand that. No, there's a shark swimming. Yeah. Yeah. Any life, what does that mean? Yours. That's what it means. Any life. Any life? Yeah, any life. Mine? Yes. Self-will? I've been calling it my will. Yeah, exactly. That's the bondage of self. You mistake self-will as your will. Yeah. That's it. It says turn over your will and life over to the care of higher power. It doesn't say turn over self's will, does it? That's what you do in step 6 and 7, really. You turn over self's will over to the higher power. It says we're going to make a decision to turn our will and our life. I don't see self in that statement. Do you? But then in this statement, you see self. Any life run on self-will. So our will must be different than self-will. Yeah. Maybe what's happening to us, if our life is defeating us, maybe our will is for all intents and purposes, is self's will. Yeah. So any life run on self-will is hardly be a success. So if our life doesn't seem to be very successful right now, maybe our will that we're believing is what's directing everything could be disguising self's will. Yeah. So maybe there's a confusion. I don't understand what our or my will is and what self's will. And if I don't have the ability to recognize that, I'm probably going to be defeated by self's will, all the while talking about it as mine. Yeah. We're hoping to make a very clear line between your will and self's will. Yeah. Because if you want to say every addict and alcoholic who has been crossed the line into real addict and real alcoholic, their lives have not been successful. Yes. And during that not being successful, they probably thought every day it was their will that was directing that day. The solution, the message, the hope, the gospel, the good news is it wasn't your will. It was self's will that has defeated us. Yes. And it's not yours. So that means you don't have to wait to completely rehabilitate something you can't rehabilitate. You can be free from it. Yeah. And when it keeps exerting its will in our life, we can recognize that and bring that to step 6 and 7 and have that misdirection be put under good orderly direction. Yeah. Now a life run on, let's say, whatever, a higher power's will is going to it's going to always seem to be a success. Yes. The distinction is so different. We're not going to like the 30th day of self-will. We're just trying to get to the root right at the beginning. Can you recognize something in you that's not of you?
And it maybe also manifests as a lack of self-will as well. It maybe also manifests as a lack of will or inaction or...
Of course, paralyzed. Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yes. It paralyzes people. It gives them direction to do the stupidest thing when they're suffering from a certain thing, like depression. They have a huge desire to be alone, which is probably the worst thing to do. They don't want to do fucking anything, which, well, that's one of the only ways to get out of it is to do something. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes what we're listening to does not have our best interest at heart. And if you could listen, if you could have a principle while listening to this dialogue inside, something not you talking to you as you with some kind of principle, you'd realize, yeah, it's intent and it's bias. And to me, the greatest thing that self-will can show you is that it's failed and that you recognize it not as your will. To me, completely. Yeah. We already know in a way that it's failed, but to get clear about that and to see that it's not you. Yeah. You have not defeated you. Self has defeated us. This is a new basis. This is foundational. Either you are that which has defeated you, or you have that which has defeated you. What are you going to call? What are you going to call self? Ego? Okay, let's say you call it ego. Who has the ego? And who loses the ego? To me, that's self. Self is not ego. Ego is an object, it's self's objectification of itself. It calls it ego. But self is the one who has the ego and the one who's going to lose the ego. We want to lose interest in self. It doesn't say we're going to lose interest in the ego. We're losing interest in self. Yeah. That's the pivotal point of this program. And what better way to lose interest in anything is to see it's not you. Really, I lose interest in tons of conversations I'm trying to, listen to because I'm hoping they're going to talk about me. As soon as I realize they're not talking about me, I lose interest in that conversation. I don't have to send Navy SEAL 6 team to retrieve the interest. I just fucking don't care anymore because it's not about me. Could you imagine having that applied to this head? You'll start caring about it as much because it's not about you. It's about a you, but not you. Yeah. This is the whole pivotal message of these Zooms for years and whenever is you feel like it's foreign. We come up with demonic possession, foreign pathogen, parasitical movement. We got it. We got the feeling that which has defeated us is not us. Yeah. But let's stamp it. Yeah. Let's stamp it. Let's formalize it so that that message can be spread easier. Yeah. You can say something. If I'm working with someone at the 5th step, hey, I'm just going to throw this in there. I know it feels great to think they're your resentments and now you are going to get out of them, far out. I'm just going to throw the idea and read page 64. They may not be yours. Let's see what happens as you go on. But just, yeah. So we stop this passing on, I feel, of an ignorant view. I do. Constantly passing it on to the next person. Yes, my resentments, your resentments, da, 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 da. Yeah. When is that lineage going to get snipped? It can't. Didn't you ever feel like when you came out of a family and every one of your brothers and sisters and your mother and father are all addicts and alcoholics, and you're going to break that fucking chain, so to speak? Yeah. Or like, you know, people would be, I'm the first person in my family that ever went to college. You know what I mean? There's these opportunities that something that's been going on for a certain while can stop and a new idea can possibly take off. Yeah. Yeah. Because I think there's really a lot of magic when we call something ours. It gives that which we call ours the possibility of owning us. I truly believe that. Yeah. It's sort of like if I say my resentment, I've let it in, so to speak, into the house. Yeah. I mean, the guy who's trying to sell me a vacuum I don't need is bothersome, but he's not in the house. I haven't let him in. Yeah. And so he's going to go after a while. But as soon as I say my, it's in. Yeah. So thanks, Ben. And anyone want to share?
Thank you. Do you want to come in, John?
Hey, thanks, Ben. Hey, Paul.
John.
Hey, man, something you said a while back that really helped me with this distinction of self-will and us. Was I don't know where you got it from. Might have been Wang Po or something, but as long as there's a sense of individuality, there will be a sense of free will.
Yes, that was from Ramana Maharshi.
Yeah, dude, that landed. And you hear a lot of talk in AA meetings about my will and free will, and but no one's ever described it like that, man, where you can absolutely see the separation through just the sense. Where does the sense come from, right?
Yeah. Yes,
the sense comes from us, and the free will is something foreign as of self. And I was just wondering if you could talk a little more on that, man. That really helped me, and I'm sure it'll help.
Well, this is then we get deep into the weeds, but all right. So everyone's always trying to figure out what's God's will and what's self's will and stuff. And the action figure is usually taken to be us. Yes. And so the action figure has a programming, because the sense of individuality is the programming of the action figure. And what comes along with that is another app called the idea of free will. So if you got the package deal of the action figure, a stock app that comes with it is the idea of free will. So you can go to a 2-week seminar that you have no free will, and then when you go into the Baskin Robbins, you're going to be thinking, I wanted chocolate, and then switch to vanilla, and it just reassures you of that sense that you have free will. Yeah. So I don't believe it's worth it to try to convince that which has that program. Yeah, that it doesn't have that program. I just don't think so. Yeah, so I would much rather go to the sense of individuality, which is the sense of being the doer, the thinker, the feeler, the taster, the toucher, which is where the alcoholism has a field day with. Yes. Because it has you doing shit you shouldn't do and then not doing shit you should do. So it's you can't, you get fucked with shitting or getting off the pot. It's just this, it gets you every which way. So his answer to this idea, this preoccupation of, do I have free will, or is it predetermined, or is free will predetermined, or whatever? He said the whole point, when there's a sense of individuality, which is the programming of this action figure, yes, that you're a unique, independent, separate thing, yeah? That's the programming. So if there's a sense of individuality, that comes along with a sense of free will. So when everyone's trying to give up the sense of free will as an individual, it's pointless. Yeah. Give up the individuality and you'll come to peace with the idea of free will, a predetermination. And you'll definitely come into peace with God's will, self's will, your will. Yes. You will. Yeah. The whole root of it all is in the sense of individuality. This is not about not having that sense of individuality, just seeing it as a sense of individuality. Yeah. In other words, you, whatever you are having a sense of individuality. The individuality is not having that sense. There is no individual. There's a sense of individuality. Yeah. So it doesn't matter in this place. The place is here is that were you directed? Were you driven? Was something imposing itself on you? Did you make decisions based on it, called self, that put you in positions to be hurt? All this stuff? Yes. Okay. We're just saying you may not be that which has defeated you. Great. Yeah, let's see. Let's start simply. Resentment, my resentment. Which one seems to produce a likeness and which one seems to add weight? My resentment seems different than resentment. Yeah. And after a while, you get 50 different things, but with the same my, and you see the weight is the my, not the 50 different things that it has preceded. Yes. You start recognizing how you're being defeated. Yes, you do. You have the ability to see it. Yeah, you have the ability to see it. 50 things: problem, resentment, fear, money, my problem, my resentment, my fear, my money. You start realizing the weight that's being put on all these different things is the same weight from my. Yeah, what the hell is that? What's that sense of my that's distributing weight to what comes after? We always used to use the example, hey, I wish everyone here has a lot of money, but I don't want any of you to have any of my money. The my fucking changes the meaning of what comes after it. Yeah. And after a while, there seems to be a very weird connection between problem, health, finances with my problem, my health, my finances. And then you start feeling this weight that's being distributed from somewhere. I feel we're it. I feel we are the meaning giving of everything is now being, that meaning giving is being given meaning by self-directing its distribution. So it changes the word money when it's called my money. Your whole attitude's different. Yes. Yeah. Thoughts, my thoughts, completely different, almost like a different beast, a different creature. That may be very fucking curious. My seems to be, it doesn't mean almost anything until you attach it to something after it. Yeah. It's like a vague something or a vague sense. Yeah. But when you attach it to something after it, it sure changes the meaning of that. Yeah. Problem and my problem are different. Big time. Life, my life, different. Girlfriend, my girlfriend, hugely different. Yes or no? Do you have any sense of this traffic of meaning distribution going on through us? There's another thing we speak of sometimes, the Course in Miracles, where it says to capture this traffic of meaning, it says you and I give everything all the meaning it has. What? Yes. So we are the largest trafficker of the mental drug called meaning. We are. We're the largest trafficker of it all. We're not taking this drug of self. we're living as if we're the drug of self. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah. We had a lovely person here the other day. She was like a perfect example of someone young in AA and doing the right thing. And she had a nice, it was great. Yes, great. Yet what creeps in when self is not seen as foreign? And now you start cleaning up the self and polishing its mirror, and you're getting a better reflection. Oh, I'm sort of liking myself now. But then after 10 years and 12 years of sobriety, something starts to be lacking. Something's off. Yes. The fungus is growing on the new piece, the new material. Yeah. The mold is starting to grow again. Yeah. That's been my humble experience. Yeah. Yeah. Selfing is trippy. But yeah, just do an experiment. Take 3 things that are important to you and then weigh them with my thing. Yeah. And after a while, you'll see those things aren't the bringer of the meaning. It's the my. The my is the distribution center. Yeah. Don't you want something other than what's been running it to run it? Do you want to keep reacting to the same old when you have a new attitude and outlook now? The new attitude and a new outlook, that's the basis that everything else gets built on. Yeah. And it all starts with losing interest in self, because that was the old attitude and the old outlook. It's not rehabbing the old attitude and old outlook. It says we're going to have a new attitude and a new outlook. It's not a rehabilitation of the old. It's a recognition that there's another possibility. I am based on I'm not that. Yeah. Would you send, let's say you had a kid. Some people I've met, they've spent over $100,000 sending their kid to rehab. Yeah. My kid. Would I be apt to do that to almost any other kid if they weren't mine? Probably not. Yeah. And what do we find out? Sometimes the people who want someone to be sober the most are the last person that person's going to hear about sobriety. It's weird, eh? But it isn't weird. If you see things, you're going to see why this shit happens the way it happens. Yeah. Yeah. So perhaps there's a better way, trusting the infinite rather than finite self. So what is that telling us? We're trust. That's what we are. We're either the trust in finite self or we're the trust in the infinite. Yeah. Just tell the truth about the trust in finite self. You don't have to change anything. The program will change you. You don't have to go to, in a sense, the victory occurs by your being disarmed. Yes. Like being placed in a position of neutrality with no thought effort of your part. Your role has been severely diminished at that point. Yes. You're being moved by something other than you and being placed in a position of neutrality with no thought or effort on your part. Yeah. So yeah, do the right thing. Yeah, that's what we say in AA. You do not think yourself into right action. You take right action into right thinking, whatever. Get a better self for a while, for sure. Get some self-esteem, for sure. it'll be easier to leave it. Yeah. The times where you most want to leave it is the most adhesive of all. When you get chilled out about it, that's when the evacuation will work. Yes. Yeah. 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 Pump it up. Pump up some self-esteem. Do some good shit. Yeah. You're going to see what you're not. Just tell the truth and bring it to step 6 and 7. Yeah. There you go. Oliver, I see. Ben, Oliver in Berlin would like to share.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to come in, Oliver?
Hello there. Hello, everyone. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for, I asked quite a lot of questions during this past period, and you answered them, to them really abundantly. And my question is because you were mentioning we are not doing our thinking. How would you explain to me or to a newcomer or both, that you weren't using thinking in answering those questions, that you weren't doing thinking? Or would you rather call it intuition?
I probably wouldn't do it with a newcomer. I would tell the newcomer to get his externals down.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. There's a time and a place for a lot of stuff.
Well, let's say newcomer to these meetings, not in general. So, yeah.
To this meeting.
Well, yeah.
Well, we're just suggesting possibilities. They may be new ones you haven't heard before.
So
lend them an ear. Lend them an ear and see what happens. Yeah, or come back.
Mm-hmm. But it's my question as well. So you are not using any thinking, or you are not doing any thinking while providing some really, really inspirational stuff there, and really deep. And are you using then intuition, or would you use?
Well, mostly intuition, but of course thoughts are used to sort of re-emphasize the same picture you're trying to describe. Yeah. So thoughts, there's nothing wrong with thoughts. They're useful, but who's the master of them is going to determine the use they're put to. Yes. Do you see? Thoughts are like everything else. They're given meaning to. What is giving them the meaning? If that which is giving them a meaning is a thought in and of itself, the thought that you're a long-lasting, independent, separate thing, that you're the doer of all shit and the thinker of all thoughts and the feeler of everything felt, yes? Then those thoughts held as yours are going to have a lot of power. And mostly thoughts are based on what's not happening. And now you may come down with an incredible illness based on what's not happening. Yeah. That's where a lot of what we call the feeling of fear is being generated by mental anxiety concerning what's not happening through great faith in the thoughts. Yeah. And how can you see that great faith in the thoughts? They're called yours, probably. They're your thoughts. Yeah. So a newcomer, it matters. That newcomer could be an old timer. This may be their 50th time in or something. I don't have any rote way of talking to anyone. I meet them and then take it from there. But usually with most people, if they want to go into the clouds and to try to figure out all this abstract stuff, I just say, get your externals down. Start going to regular meetings, share, put the chairs up, get a commitment, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Yeah. I hope that's getting to what you're asking. I'm not sure. Oliver.
Yeah, I'd say yes. I mean, maybe I'm actually trying to picture myself in a situation where I get asked, okay, what do you mean we're not doing our thinking? Maybe speak for yourself, but I'm doing my thinking, right? And then one might say something witty in order to confirm that. I don't know.
I don't say it often to people. This is we have a platform that lends a lot of permission to exploring things. Yeah. If I'm sitting with some people, I usually don't get into, you're not the thinker of the thoughts. I'm like past the tomatoes, you know, we're just, you know, it's a nice day, isn't it? Yeah. I don't see, this is, we've agreed, like it or not, entering this Zoom, and here we are. So I feel a license to do what, you know, to go follow these cues that happen and see where they go. I'm not living with that license all day. I don't, yeah. If you want to believe that, you know, they're your thoughts, it's great. Yeah. I don't care. Yeah, so it's all, I don't have any rote answers about what I'm going to say. I don't have anything what I'm going to say here. It just takes a flow starts and we just go with it. Yeah. It led to the idea of the sense of individuality, which I'm very keen on, because that doesn't say there's individuality. That says there's a sense of individuality. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So, but no one says much to me. Yeah. Yeah. All over these years, I think I've only been confronted personally a couple of times. Mostly it's just they talk about me when I'm not there. I can sense that when I come in. But what the hell?
Would you maybe say, I mean, along the line that, you know, person that claims to be using its own thinking is actually using its own programming rather, or mental programming?
Well, see, the idea of you using anything is part of the program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So right there. And now you're just switching a seat on the Titanic, so to speak. You're going to try to reprogram the program, not realizing that's part of the program, constantly attempting or desiring to reprogram it. Yeah. I see there's a distinct feeling, a difference of being in self and being out of self. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's factual. I believe the fact is you're out of what you call self. I believe also the appearance can seem as if you're in self. I attempted, based on being in self, to get out of self a lot. Tons of times with a lot of different vehicles. I have come to the conclusion you can't get out of self as self. So what is the only option? The only option is I'm not in self. Does that mean there isn't selfing? No, it doesn't. I'm just not in self. Yeah. I'm of something else. I'm not of self. Yeah. And the distinction was drawn sufficiently to work here. And all that's happened over the years has that line has been reinforced, hasn't eroded or curved or changed or added some shit. It's been very clear. I'm not that. Yes. Yeah. I don't know what I am, and I don't have any interest in knowing what I am. My interest was turned into knowing what I'm not, and that has proven to be much more valuable than attempting to know what I am. Yeah. Because I believe I can't know what I am because I am it. Yeah. What I am can't be a topic to what I am. I don't see it that way. So I can see what I'm not. And I was given an incredible recycling process called step 6 and 7, and I've used it a lot. Yeah. So when I see the manifestations of self, and a lot of times now I see their archetypes in dreaming at night, I bring it to step 6 and 7 when I wake up. I say, hey, I'm entirely ready to have this reconfigured, and I ask that power, and it's sort of like putting out the garbage. I have faith in the garbage man. I don't stay up all night looking out the window for the garbage man. I have faith that when I get up, the garbage can's going to be empty, and it is. Yeah. So it's your faith that moves mountains. Why not surrender it to a higher power that will assist in that moving of mountains? Instead of making molehills out of mountains, you'll move the mountains. Yes. Yeah. Yep. So that's how I see it. I'm not here to proselytize. I don't really have a dog in the hunt. Yeah. I've learned that people are going to go their own trajectory, so to speak, no matter what they hear. But just like a bird that's compelled to sing, I feel like I'm compelled to sing. And as long as I have a platform, I will. If my seat assignment changes, yeah, I won't be yapping at the cafe to people who don't want to hear what I'm saying. I know, it just won't. I don't need to be right about it. Yeah. Yeah. I just feel like it's allowed a traveling lighter so profoundly different that every other moment or time in my life has been dismissed. This is it right now. Blows my mind. Yeah. I have a dog now. I've had dogs before, but it's not even close to having a dog now. I just can't believe it. It's just like, it's nothing. The only thing that's happening is now. Yeah. Everything else is just lost a lot of form and shape. But I remember the irritability, restlessness, and discontent that was just a driving force in this life most of the time since I was young. That's not there now. And the absence of that is fucking hallelujah. Yeah. Yeah. I thought I'd pass it on. Yeah, because you have it by giving it away. That's the thing I learned in recovery. Well, here we are giving it away. Not for you to have it. That's great. That's gravy. I hope it happens. But for me to have it, I have it by giving it away. I'm freed from that which I feel is freeing by sharing it. Yeah? Yeah, for sure. I've gone to the most meetings that Paul Hedderman has led. I've gone to every Paul Hedderman meeting, never missed one. Yeah. It's in it's the giving away is the having of it. That's why I really appreciate this platform. I have to sing. Yeah, I'm a bird. Gotta. Yeah. It's a drag when no one wants to listen. So when people give you permission, it's great. Yeah. Yeah. So I hope that's all right, Oliver. Yeah. I don't know. If someone says their thoughts, it means just as much as I'm saying they're not my thoughts. It's just same. Yeah. It's just talking. But I hope that there's going to be a relief shown when you see they're not your thoughts. that will not be showing when you see they are your thoughts. That's what I actually smell, is relief. Yeah. 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 Relief. Isn't that what we're looking for? Please relieve us of the bondage of self. Yeah. You don't have to be relieved of self. It's the identification with it that's the bondage. Yeah. That we can ask to be relieved of. Self is just something the programming does. Yeah. Maybe it makes sense on a survival level. Who knows? I don't really look into it that deeply. But I do not believe we're of self. As Jesus said, we're in this world, but we're not of this world. So I really feel no matter how much you're in this world, you're still not of it. Yeah. And I feel the freedom from the bondage self is a sense of what we are of, not what we seem to be in. Yeah. And they have much different flavors. And I think you can actually say one's the real thing. Yeah. And then the other is an appearance of things. Yeah. Yeah. I feel you'll travel lighter through the appearance of things with the taste of the real thing. I do. That's how it happened with me and does. Yeah. And Lord knows, most people I meet, they could use a little relief. They could use a stabilized sense of traveling lighter. They really could. Yeah, they could be much easier on themselves. Yeah, yeah. So, who would have thought that the real liberation is from the need to be liberated? Who would have thought that? But that's been my sense. Yeah. I have been relieved from the need to be better. Yeah. The urban renewal project has been canceled. That budget is going to other things. Yeah. So now that same faith that used to enslave me is enriching my day. Not bad. So I think we got to go. If anyone else, yeah, Ben.
Okay, yeah, there's no more hands, so yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have you ever been in a country where all your meetings were hours, and then you go somewhere where there are hour-and-a-half meetings? That extra half hour seemed like eternity, right? It used to be a drag. When I first went to Australia, they were hour-and-a-half, and was like another half an hour listening to. I couldn't take it, so we started an hour meeting. But yeah. Enough's enough, maybe. Oliver, nice to see you. Yeah. Just stay sober, bro. That's all. Every other possibility is linked to that for many of us. If the action figure drinks, a lot of the bets are going to be called off. Yeah. Yeah. So, Kerry, as always, nice to see you, bro. And your Asian hat on the wall. John S., Florida. Yes, John. A lot of the download is a flavor and a feeling. So you hear something, and there's more there. There's more there that's that's there. That's the feel. That's it. Eh? Yeah. That's like Ensure for a person who's starving. It's a heavy-duty nutritional drink. Dana, nice to see you. Yeah. Michael Stacy. So Dana has great security concerning clean clothes because other people do her laundry. Very cool. Michael Stacy, as always. Hey, Mike, are you going to be there today, Mike? We have a meeting at 4:30. I want to make an announcement. We're going to post it in a couple of days. I don't know if we're going to be here next Tuesday at 10:30. Amelia's going for her citizenry test, and I got to be there to hold her hand. So she's going to become an American. I warned against it, but she's hell-bent on it. But yeah. So I'm gonna see either if we're gonna be out of there by then or not. So it'll be up on the website in a couple of days if we have a talk. But today we'll be there at 4:30 Pacific time. All right, Al, nice to see you, Al, in Vegas. Mickey, as always. Ben, thank you for the service, Ben. Yeah, and sticking with us. Yeah, Kathy, Cleveland, nice to see you. On Andrew, I saw we talked to you last week. Yes, Andrew? Yeah, I think so. Did we talk last week? I thought so. Little Smitty.
Oh, I forgot that was there. Hi, Paul.
Oh, all right, Kathy.
That's my nickname.
Little Smitty guys. I saw right through it.
That's my nickname, Paul.
All right. We won't release it into the mass population. Matt G, nice to see you, Matt. Yeah. Oh, Mia, down south on her iPhone. Joseph C, he's living large in the living room. There he is. Kurt Z, my main man in Redondo Beach. Yeah.
You know, Linda's becoming an Italian citizen, so we're doing just the opposite.
Oh, really? She's becoming Italian. Oh, great. So she can move there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Good to see you.
We're going there at the end of the month. So, yeah.
Wish we could join you, but we're committed elsewhere.
We're going to see a guy named Roman. You know, I'm sort of not looking forward to that. The day of reckoning with Roman Mueller. Nice to see you, Roman. Great. Minneapolis, you're in fucking Burning Man, or are you leaving Burning Man?
Yeah, you motherfuckers. I'm so glad I get through to you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I left with a friend that's assisting me to go to the hospital in Reno so I can get a blood transfusion. Then I'm back to the burn.
Oh, wow.
So
wow.
I will give you a Burning Man Zen bitch slap report when the next time you're on, and I can get online with you.
All right, great, bro. Yeah, so we got to live vicariously through people now.
Yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me and living the way I'm living my life now and not letting this whatever it is try to take over. So it's Paul and everybody here. You're just a tremendous blessing in my life.
Oh, well, you vice versa, bro. That's great. Yes, and you're our sole reporter in Burning Man, so get back there.
All right, man.
Tell us what's going on. I want to realize there's probably 90,000 people thinking they're a self, and there'll be probably 90,000 people leaving thinking they're a self. So the one man that needed to be burned fucking has asbestos all over it. Yes.
Yeah, we try to give ourselves different names. I'm Crow, and a gentleman sitting next to me is Sheepdog. So
She-dog.
Yeah.
She-dog.
Yeah, it's our persona on the playa. We give each other different names.
Oh, She-dog and Crow. All right.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Oh.
All right. Love you, Paul.
See you, bro.
Take care.
Crispy in Boston. Nice to see you, bro. Jacob? No, you're in Seattle now? No,
I'm just logged in. When I log into Zoom,
in the Hudson Valley.
Back.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
We're here, though.
All right, great. We got Cassandra. Nice to see her. We got Christopher B.
Yeah, I look so bad today.
Christopher. Chris Blake.
Cassandra. Is that really her name?
Cassandra?
It is Cassandra.
Oh, Alex is right here.
Yes, I hear you, Alex. Yes. Nice to see you. Christine and Christine is in Paris right now. Wow. Christine from Kona. Okay, great. Wow. Stay around Paris. We'll be there and we'll be in Italy in October. Sean. Nice to see Sean there.
Brother Paul. Thanks.
How are you?
All right, man. Hanging in.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
Jeffrey in Seattle, you're not driving, you're not delivering eyes anymore? Oh, you are? All right, he's driving. You can't disturb him. Alex V, nice to see Alex. Jonathan. JP, yeah, Alex V, nice to see you. Who else? Let's see. We got Marcus. Nice to meet you, Marcus. How are you?
Long time no see. I'm Michael's friend. You probably forgot about me.
No one will forget. Yeah. Michael Stacy? He's up there.
And my friend too.
Oh. You know the matriarch of Madeira, Mickey, eh? Oh, you're in good company. Yeah. Nice to meet you, man. We got Ross A. Ross A looks like he's in the tundra. From Ross A to everyone, peace. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Let's all agree on that sentiment. Peace. So, yeah, everyone. I think if I missed you, Ben, thank you for doing the service. Kurt, everybody. It was a pleasure. I'll see some of you later. And this week,